All right, I think that's better. I switched my connection over. So welcome to the broadcast. Tonight we're going to be talking about the best markets to invest in real estate. Let me turn down the volume on my iPad. There we go. All right, if you're just joining the broadcast, welcome. I'm broadcasting live on Instagram, Periscope, and YouTube Live. And I would love to see you type in the comments on YouTube, Instagram, or Periscope where you're hanging out from. Your first name, if that helps too, your first name and what city you're from. Because tonight we're going to talk about the different markets that you can use to invest in real estate. And I'm going to take some data from the mortgage industry and show you what I did with it and also how you can find the same data yourself. So let me just check as people are joining in. I think the audio is great now, so if I'm not loud enough, let me know and I'll move the mic a little closer. I know on Instagram you can only hear probably from the phone, so I've got that about as close as I can get it at this point. All right, thank you all for coming tonight. Tonight is Marketing Monday, and I'm going to be talking about the best markets to invest in real estate. I'm so glad you made it here. I'm Janice Bell. I'm a real estate investor, mentor, and coach. My company, Wise Wealth University, takes the mystery out of real estate investing and gives you step-by-step training. You can check out some of my free resources by going to my website, wisewealthuniversity.com, and you'll see there two buttons. The red button gives you a free ebook on how to find your own private lenders, and the green button gives you access to my direct mail video course where there's 3 videos and several PDFs getting you started on doing your own direct mail. And this feeds right into what we're talking about tonight, because we're going to talk about the best markets to invest in real estate. And then once you know those markets, you're going to be sending letters to people who own property in those markets. So it's really important to understand how the direct mail works. And that's just one of the methods you can use to find off-market deals. All right, so I'm going to get started over onto the magic data, and I'll just pop in and say hi. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the studio. This is Janice Bell. I'm the Pink Professor on Periscope and on Instagram, as well as on YouTube. My channel is Wise Wealth University, and on Facebook, I'm also on Wise Wealth University. So I would love it if you guys would join and either subscribe on YouTube or like my page on Facebook, or if you're on Instagram, join the channel there. And if you're on Periscope, you're already following me at Pink Professor. So let's get started with the magic data that I promised to talk to you about tonight. All right, and before we start, and I'll review this again after we finish the topic, I would love everyone to sign up for my Funding Mystery Challenge. In that challenge, here, let me transition over so you can see it. All right, in that challenge, we teach you how to find private lenders, and it's a game that we play on Facebook. It's a 7-day free game. So go ahead and sign up, and you'll receive a daily check and a lesson via email, and then feedback in our private Facebook group. So it's a great way to learn how to find your own private lenders. Once you're in the course, let me show you what that looks like. Okay, once you're in the course, and here's what the course looks like, you'll see the login and the sign-up page. You'll see 10 different lessons on how to find private lenders, and you'll be shown how to join the Facebook group. So in the group, people post about the check they received that week, because you'll get a check with each of the 7 lessons, and the check doubles every day. So you'll get a check like the one you can see here, and then you post what you're going to do with the check and where the check came from. So you can be very creative about who's lending you private money and what you're going to do with the private money that you received. So it's a really fun game, and it expands people's minds into thinking about the money and the possibilities that are out there for their real estate investing. So I invite everyone to sign up for the group. It's called fundingchallenge.smartmember.com/signup1. Let me, if you're on Instagram, I'm going to change over to the sign up page so you guys can see it. Actually, that's not the sign up page. Let's see. Well, that's the course itself. I probably don't have the sign up page. Well, here it is. There's the sign up page. So it's fundingchallenge.smartmember.com/signup1. But if you go to fundingmysterychallenge.com, you'll come to this page, and you can sign up right there by clicking the green sign up button. So either one of those ways will work. So let's transition over to starting today's lesson. Let me show you the data that we're starting with here. So what I wanted to do was tell you where I can find and where you can find the data on how to discern the best real estate markets. And if you want to invest in your own home market, what you can do is look at the data and see what's happening in your own home market, which is your local real estate club and your local real estate market or city that you're in. I didn't mean club. Okay, so the data are on this website called Magic, and this website is put out by the mortgage industry. It's Mortgage Guarantee Insurance Corporation, and they put out a quarterly report. I use the quarterly report to prepare this for you so you guys have some data and to learn about the markets and the different important criteria when you pick a real estate market. So you can go to this site. It's called mgic.com, and you can sign up to get your own report. But what I've done is put all that information for you together in a Google Drive. So if you would like to see all the information on tonight's scope, you can go to my website, wisewealthuniversity.com, scroll to the bottom, and you'll be able to see a sign-up sheet. Or if you're on Facebook, you can message me there. Let me go back over here. So if you guys scroll down here, you can get in touch by sending me an email, and I will add you into the Google Doc folder so you can get all the different data that I've assembled there for this particular talk. So there's a January 2017 report and a July 2017 report, as well as some individual reports for each city. In addition to that, I have two spreadsheets, one from January's data and then another comparing January's data with the data we have right now. So I did a scope earlier this year on the data from January, and all that information is there. So just go ahead and send me an email right from my website, and I will share that folder with you. Even if you're on the replay or live watching the video later, it doesn't matter. I will look for those emails and send them to you. Or you can put a comment in if you're watching on YouTube, put a comment below and I'll go ahead and send that to you. Or you can put a comment on Instagram. All right, let's move into the data. So I wanted to show you what the report looks like. The report's called Market Trend Analysis, and this one is from July. So there'll be another one coming out for this past quarter, but it wasn't out when I started preparing this data last week. So we're going to work with July, and then later in the year, I'll go over the third quarter data because it usually takes them a while to get the report ready. So it's a long PDF. I think it's 72 pages or something like that. Let me scroll through. So the first data that I'm interested in is state employment. So I've used four criteria for this report. State employment, year-over-year gain. And I took the states that have the highest employment gain year to year. So overall in the U.S., we're up 1.58% over last year first quarter. And then let me see if I'm on the right. Yeah, this is the July one. Okay. The other data that I'm interested in are the increase in home prices, year over year increase in home prices. We are up 5.49% in year over year changes in home prices. And what I do on this report is I just take the top 2 states. So the ones that are in green and the ones that are in blue. So that would be number 1 and number 2. And I put those into a spreadsheet. And the third piece of data I'm interested in are the increase in the number of home sales year to year. So you'll see in this one, there's still some green and blue. Those are the top 2 that I'm going to look at. But for the U.S., our year over year sales are down 19%. Not the amount you pay for the house, but the number of sales year to year is down 20% from last year. So even in the top percent, the ones that are green, the green states range from a negative 5%. I know you can't see it on here, but you'll get the report yourself and you can see negative 5% up to 9.7%. So, and in tier 2, which are the blue states, they range from minus 5% all the way to minus 19%. That's a decline in the number of home sales. So while the prices have gone up and employment is going up, the number of sales has gone down. Well, isn't that going to start to affect the home building industry, the real estate agents and everyone else who work in that industry? Because the numbers are going down even though the price is going up. So this indicates that we're very close to the top of the market as well as a market plateau because the number of sales are going down. Okay. The other thing I look at are the number of foreclosures. The number of foreclosures are very low. Even in the states with the most foreclosures, the percentages range from 1.8% all the way up to 4.8%. And the lowest one, the red states, is 0.34% to 0.6%. So half of the colors there, the yellow, orange, and red, are under 1% in foreclosures. So from there, the report goes in to look at the metropolitan areas, the smaller areas around a big city, and they divide it into that. And so I don't look at those data. I go into the individual cities and start looking. Once I've identified which states we're interested in, I'll do that. And then once I identify the states we're interested in, I will pull, here's the overall trends, but I will pull the individual reports from each city, each metropolitan area. I will pull those. And that's what these data look like. So each city will look different. So if you get the PDF by giving me that email, you'll have access to the full report, which is 72 pages, and it will have every metropolitan area that you might be interested in. So let's hop on over and look at the data. I'm going to scroll down just so you see, like, probably here's Greensboro, North Carolina. So that's what the data look like for a particular city. And Greensboro is on our radar. It's going to be in one of the, it's going to be in the report. So a lot of southern cities, Raleigh. Now, when you look at the individual cities, let me go back to Greensboro. Charlotte's another one. Wait, did I miss it? Let's see. Here we go. There's a number here that I'm going to look at, and that is the median sales price. So even though the state's doing well and that metropolitan area might be doing well, if the median sales price is above 300,000, I don't even look at it. I'm only going to show you data for markets where the median sales price is under 300,000 because it's just going to be too expensive to invest in those other areas. unless you're into the luxury home market and you can afford to put that much money into the deal. So let's hop on over and look at the data. All right, there we have the data. If you're in one of these markets or investing in one of these markets as I talk to you, it'd be great if you could put a comment on excuse me, on Periscope. Just put a comment below, and on YouTube Live, you could put a comment that you're in that city. Just type in the name of the city, as well as on Instagram. You can also comment and type in the name of the city if that's a city that you do investing in. You don't have to live there, just cities you're investing in. So this is the chart for the data from comparing January 2017 to July 2017. So a 6-month span. And I'm just going to go over with you the states that meet my criteria. And the way they meet my criteria is that they have to have a number 1 or a number 2 for employment, increase in home prices, and increase in the number of sales. So I'm just going to give you the states that are the top states in all 3 of those criteria. And I've got to move the mic so I can read this from the screen. So Arizona is, and these are in alphabetical order. So Arizona is number 1 in all 3 of those. And those are the green lines that you see there. California is number 1 and number 2 in those areas. Colorado, numbers 2 and 1s in those 3 areas. Florida, also in those areas. Now the difference is Florida, you'll see a red bar in what you're looking at. And Florida also has a number 1 for foreclosures. But remember, the foreclosure rate's really low. But those would be the states that have the most foreclosures across the country if you're looking for those. They don't have a lot, but they have more than all the other states. Now let's look at Georgia. Georgia has 1s and 2s in those 3 criteria. Remember, employment, home prices up, and the number of sales up. Idaho just has 1s in 2 of those criteria. Maine only in 1. Missouri only in 1. Oh, sorry, Michigan in 1. So I'm only looking at the ones that have a green line. North Carolina is good in all 3. Nevada is good in all 3. It has 1s in all 3, as does Arizona. And Nevada is the only other place that has the foreclosures going on. Oregon is in 1st or 2nd place in all 3 criteria. South Carolina wasn't on the map in January. If we look back over here, South Carolina was not included there. It just didn't have an increase in the number of sales. It wasn't in the top 2 levels. Tennessee as well is in the top 2 for all 3 criteria. And Utah and Washington were in the top in January, and they're not right now in July. So that's what I wanted to show you. So the fact that South Carolina popped in and wasn't there before, we've added 2 new cities into our metropolitan list. And I'm sorry I can't kind of zoom in on what I'm showing. I don't think I can zoom in on. Okay, Instagram does allow me to zoom in. So let me zoom in for all those Instagram followers and get it in really close for you. All right, the rest of you have to believe me, and you can also get the data when we're done, because there's no zoom on this particular thing that I'm doing here. I could you know what, since it's a spreadsheet, let me go ahead and zoom in for you guys on this. Well, Excel has zoom. Maybe Google Docs doesn't zoom in as well. Here we go. There we go. We're up at 150%. I'll move Instagram over so you can see it. So we're going to look at the individual cities now, because I'm sure that's what you guys care about the most. The state data, maybe not as interesting, but that's how I drilled down and got the best cities. And you'll recognize these cities as cities that other people talk about in terms of real estate investing. All right, I hope that's a little bigger for you guys on screen. Then I'll scroll down at the end. Right now, we're looking at Phoenix and Tucson are both in the Arizona state market. Now, in January, the median price there over in Phoenix was $232,000, and by July, it had gone up 5% to $244,000. Tucson, I thought was higher, but it's actually lower. $191,000 went up to $197,000 6 months later, so it went up by 3%. Now, Florida is in the top 3 criteria, and it also has some foreclosures. So, Jacksonville was at 208 at the beginning of the year, and now it's up at 223. So it went up 7% in home price, the median home price. Orlando was 218, and now it's up at 240. So the prices in Orlando in 6 months went up 10%. Tampa was at 196, and in 6 months it went up to 215. So it also went up 10%. So this is a hot market. The prices are going up almost from the time you buy it. You're going to gain some money just while you're doing the rehab, which is awesome for rehabbers. So it's something you should know and just look at those data points. Atlanta was 181 last January, and now the median price is 195, and it also had gone up 8%. So the other, I guess I can scroll it up a little bit here. Okay, now let's look at the other states. And you know, I'm looking at the screen here. I'm going to try to zoom in even a little bit more. Let's go to, it might be too big, but all right, here we go. Hope that's better for you guys. All right, in North Carolina, Charlotte was 202 and went up to 220. So the home prices went up 9% in 6 months. I love Greensboro. It's just staying at a flat market. And I'm going to say why I love it is because it doesn't fluctuate that much, and you know when you're getting something, it's also not going to drop back down and have huge drops like some of these other fluctuating markets. So Greensboro was 152. It's still 152. Home prices didn't change. It's a nice even market. Raleigh, North Carolina. So there's 3 target cities in North Carolina. Raleigh was at 248, and it went up to 254. So it only went up 2%. So that's also a nice even market to work in. Las Vegas was 240 at the beginning of the year for median prices, 240K, and now it's at 245, and that went up 2%. So it's going to be interesting to look at the next 2 quarters of 2017 to see what's happening with these markets, especially with the number of sales slowing down and going negative. We may start to see some prices leveling off, which would indicate definitely a plateau at the peak. So we're going to move into South Carolina. Now, South Carolina was not on our radar back in January. The state itself didn't meet the criteria that we had. If I just switch back, it's kind of small, but South Carolina was not in green at that point. So by July it was, and so Charleston is at 253 for the median price, and it went up to 264, so it went up 4% in 6 months. And Greenville, South Carolina, was 184 and went up to 197, and that's an increase of 7%. Let's move down to the last one, Tennessee, and then I'm going to give you some tips about what to do with the information. All right, so Memphis, Tennessee was at 151 and the median price is now 169. It went up 12%. Nashville was at 220. It went up to $241,000 in median prices, house prices, so it went up 10%. So Tennessee went up a lot. South Carolina, not as much. Vegas did not go up that much. North Carolina, not as much, except in Charlotte, higher price market. In Florida, all three markets went up quite a bit, as well as Atlanta. So the Southeast is pretty hot right now. And in Phoenix, prices went up 5 and in Tucson 3%. So what would you do if you were looking for a new market to invest in? Well, one thing that I'm interested in is I like to look at a market where prices are increasing or they're fairly flat. And the reason I like the flat markets is they also don't dip down as much and you can't lose money, in 6 months. If you're flipping very quickly, it's really nice to buy in these hot markets. If you're planning to keep for long-term rentals, it's not as good to hold those properties because they're near the top of the market. That's what the data are showing us, that the number of sales has gone down significantly. And in that case, the market can go down. So now, the other thing you should know is you're not buying houses at this price. If you're a real estate investor, you're not buying the median priced houses. You're solving a problem. So when you solve a problem, what you want to do is make sure that you buy things that are in foreclosure. And for those markets, I'd look at Las Vegas and Jacksonville. You want to look for distressed landlords. You want to look for people who lost their job. You want to look for people that are getting divorced. They're taking care of an older parent. There's death and disease or something going on in their life that they have to unload these properties. Sad to say, but those are the places that you can help people out the most if you're able to take care of the problems that they have in their real estate, and they can move forward with their life and get things going. I'm just checking my streaming here. I don't know why it says offline, but one of my streams is offline right at the moment. So, but that's all right. We've got Periscope going for sure, and Instagram as well. So those are the markets that are really important for you to look at, and I would choose from one of those if you want to buy some new properties, especially if you live in an area like California where some of these markets are just too pricey. And I'll tell you the reason I'll try to look for it right now in the market thing. There's reasons why. Well, let's switch over and I'll look at some of these markets so you can see what I mean. Greensboro definitely has a lower price point. There's Raleigh at $254, North Carolina. Charleston, South Carolina, $264, fairly high, but Greenville looks really nice at $197. That's a good market to go into. Memphis is also a good market, as well as Nashville, higher prices. So I kind of skipped, I didn't talk about Texas because they didn't meet all the criteria, the 3 criteria that I'm looking for right now in a market. All right, and then the West. So Phoenix, 244. And you'll see when I get to California why we're not in California. I mean, I'm in California, but I'm not investing there right now. The median price in LA is $518,000 for a median priced house. I can't really zoom in, so I'm just going to tell you what it is right now. So it's in this block right here. The second one down under employment is home price index. But it's not the price, it's the year-over-year change. So the prices haven't changed that much. They're just kind of going sideways. Existing home sales is over in this third block down. Existing home sales is going up slightly, but affordability is taking a dip. So affordability is in the second block here. I know it's hard to see. I don't think I can zoom in right. Oh, here's zoom. Let's see. Yeah, let's zoom in on a few of these pages. All right, there we go. Let's see. Let's look back at LA. So in this second block here on the right, $518,000, and affordability has taken a dip. So it's definitely below the 100 index. Oakland, which would be up near San Francisco, also in a dip in affordability, and the median price in Oakland is $732,000. In Riverside, the median price is $327,000, also a dip in the second bar here in affordability. Sacramento, $339,000, and a dip in affordability. San Diego, the median price is $623,000, and also a dip in the recent quarter in affordability. San Francisco, the median price is $1,098,000, and the housing affordability is down about 55%. That means 55% of the people with a median income can afford to buy a house. San Jose, same sort of story. $1 million is the median house. Santa Ana, which is Orange County, $775,000. Denver, Colorado, the median price is $407,000. And in Honolulu, it's $760,000. Now, Las Vegas was one on our market. The median sales price is $245,000, and affordability took a small dip, but not too much. Portland, it was too high. So Portland, Salt Lake, the median prices were just too high to make them work. Let me go back up to Atlanta. Was one of the southern ones you guys wanted to look at. Okay, here's Fort Lauderdale. No, Jacksonville, $223,000. Affordability is still pretty good. Not Miami, too expensive. Orlando, $240,000 for the median price. And Tampa, the median price is $215,000. And Atlanta, the median price is $195,000. So that's also a good market. A lot of people are doing well in Atlanta. So what I just wanted to do is give you guys a snapshot of some of the different markets. I'll leave it on the Atlanta one here, so that you can have a good idea of, what markets you would like to go into. And just to give you some help with that, I'm going to click back over and run that for a minute and give you a location that you can get some good information from. So you can go ahead over to my website on Wise Wealth University, and there's the Get in Touch form. And you can go over to the private lending ebook to learn how to get private lending, private money to use in your rentals. And you can also look at the direct mail video course if you click on that link. And these things are all also up in the products. So when you go to the direct mail video course, I'm just going to click over on there now. That's where you sign up, and you can get instant access to the checklist and the training videos right away, and that helps you send direct mail and market to some of these out-of-state markets. So the ebook and the video course are really, really important, and they're going to help you guys get going with your real estate investing. So I'm going to end with that and show you, here's the site you can go to, the MAGIC, which is the Mortgage Guarantee Insurance Corporation, and that's where the mortgage industry buys their insurance, and so they do data on all the different markets that people can possibly invest in. So I want to go over and thank you guys for coming to the show. I'm doing a show every evening around 5 to 6 o'clock on Periscope, Instagram, and YouTube Live. And then on Thursday, I do a special webinar where we won't be live on those channels, but you can sign up to come into the webinar, and we do a special training just for people who want to be on the webinar. So I'll announce that live on the various channels, but the actual training will be in a webinar, and you'd have to sign up and get a link for that. So thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you for joining me live, and I will edit some of these videos, and they end up posting on YouTube on my channel at Wise Wealth University. So thank you guys for coming, and you all have a great evening.